It is said that the Egyptian god Thoth left a book containing all hidden knowledge. Where is it now? They say there exists a book so dangerous that those who fully comprehend its contents either ascend to godhood or descend into madness. A text written by the hand of divinity itself, containing the formulas that govern reality, the names that command existence, the keys that unlock every door between the seen and unseen worlds. This is the Book of Thoth, and its story stretches from the dawn of civilization to this very moment, as these words reach your consciousness. In the shadow of the Great Pyramid, beneath the scorching Egyptian sun, priests whispered of a forbidden text hidden in chambers that exist between dimensions. They spoke of Thoth, the ibis-headed scribe of the gods, who recorded the universe's blueprint before the first star ignited. Some claimed the book was sealed in an iron box, sunk beneath the Nile's ancient waters. Others insisted it was carved into emerald tablets that could only be read by those whose third eye had opened. But all agreed on one truth: whoever possessed this knowledge would wield power beyond mortal comprehension. What if I told you that fragments of this book have survived? That its teachings have been encoded in architecture, hidden in alchemical symbols, preserved in hermetic traditions that still pulse with life today? The search for the Book of Thoth is more than an archaeological curiosity. It represents humanity's eternal quest to remember what we once knew, to reclaim the divine technology of consciousness itself. The ancients understood something we have forgotten. Knowledge is alive. It chooses its vessels, and perhaps, just perhaps, it has chosen you. The name Thoth echoes through time like a bell struck in eternity. In ancient Egypt, he was Jehuti, the self-created one, born from the vibration of his own voice. Unlike other deities who emerged from chaos or were birthed by cosmic parents, Thoth manifested through pure will and wisdom. He was the tongue of Ra, transforming divine thought into creative word. When the gods quarreled, Thoth arbitrated. When the universe needed ordering, Thoth inscribed the laws. He invented writing, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, magic. But these were merely tools. His true gift was something far more profound. The Egyptians called him Lord of Divine Words, understanding that reality itself was constructed through sacred language. Every hieroglyph was a living symbol, a key that could unlock specific frequencies of creation. Thoth taught that words were not descriptions of things, but the essence of things themselves. To know the true name of something was to command its very existence. This is why the Book of Thoth was considered the most powerful object in creation. It contained the original names, the root passwords of reality's operating system. Archaeological evidence suggests the priesthood of Thoth maintained secret libraries where initiates studied for decades before being deemed worthy to glimpse even fragments of the master text. The temple at Hermopolis, Thoth's cult center, was designed as a three-dimensional mandala, its architecture encoding the same principles written in the book. Passages from the pyramid texts reference hidden chambers of Thoth, where scrolls of liquid light contained knowledge that could transform a human into a living god. These were not metaphors. The ancient Egyptians possessed technologies of consciousness we are only beginning to rediscover. The Greeks, recognizing Thoth's significance, merged him with their own Hermes, creating Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great. This fusion birthed Hermeticism, a tradition that would preserve Thothian wisdom through the fall of empires and the burning of libraries. The Hermetic texts speak of the Emerald Tablet, supposedly discovered by Alexander the Great in Thoth's tomb, containing the formula for spiritual and material transformation. Its opening lines have echoed through millennia: as above, so below, as within, so without. This principle, they claimed, was merely the introduction to Thoth's greater revelations. But why was this knowledge hidden? Why did priests guard it with their lives, encoding it in symbols that would take centuries to decipher? Because the Book of Thoth was not simply information to be consumed, it was initiation itself. Each passage, properly understood, would trigger specific changes in consciousness. Read in the wrong sequence or without proper preparation, it could shatter the unprepared mind like glass. The book was both medicine and poison, depending on the reader's spiritual development. The mythology speaks of Prince Neferkaptah, who discovered the book's location through ancient texts. It was said to be guarded by serpents and scorpions, sealed in nested boxes of iron, bronze, gold, and silver, submerged in the Nile near Coptos. When Neferkaptah finally obtained it, he could understand the speech of animals, see the gods themselves, and command the forces of nature. But the price was devastating. His entire family was destroyed, and he was condemned to guard the book in death, warning others of its terrible cost. This tale, preserved in the Westcar papyrus, was not fiction but instruction manual, encoding the psychological and spiritual trials one must pass to handle such knowledge. The real Book of Thoth was never a single physical text. It was a living transmission, a state of consciousness that could be activated through specific practices, symbols, and initiations. The physical books were merely maps to this state. Consider how Islamic tradition speaks of the mother of the book, an eternal text in heaven from which all earthly scriptures derive. Hindu philosophy describes the Akashic records, a cosmic library containing all knowledge past, present, and future. These are different cultural interpretations of the same reality Thoth represented, the universal field of information from which all knowledge emerges. Modern physicists speak of the quantum field, where all possibilities exist simultaneously until observed. Ancient initiates would recognize this immediately. The Book of Thoth taught that consciousness was the fundamental fabric of reality, that observation creates experience, that the universe is mental before it is material. What we call the laws of physics were, to Thoth, merely the habits of divine mind, changeable by those who knew the proper formulae. The alchemists encoded Thothian principles in their great work. The transformation of lead into gold was never about metal, but about consciousness. The philosopher's stone was a state of being where one could read the Book of Thoth directly from the fabric of reality itself. Every sincere alchemist was essentially seeking to reconstruct the Book of Thoth through personal experimentation. Their laboratories were temples, their experiments were rituals, their goal was gnosis. The Renaissance Magus Marsilio Ficino claimed to have discovered fragments of the Book of Thoth in Byzantine manuscripts. He wrote that certain passages, when contemplated in specific states of consciousness, would trigger visions of geometric patterns that contained entire libraries of knowledge. John Dee, Elizabeth I's court magician, spent decades attempting to reconstruct what he called the hieroglyphic monad, a single symbol that allegedly contained all of Thoth's teachings. His conversations with what he believed were angels were attempts to receive the book through direct transmission. But here is what most seekers miss. The Book of Thoth is being written right now in this moment, through your consciousness. Every genuine insight, every moment of clarity, every instance of direct knowing is a page from the eternal book. Thoth was not describing a fixed reality, but teaching the art of conscious creation. The book is not something you find, but something you become. The practicing alchemist Fulcanelli wrote that the secret of the cathedrals was their ability to transmit the Book of Thoth through stone. Gothic architecture, with its sacred geometry and symbolic programs, was designed to alter consciousness in specific ways. Walking through these spaces in the proper state of mind would activate dormant capacities, allowing one to read the book written in light and shadow, proportion and echo. This is why pilgrims reported miraculous healings and visions. The cathedrals were three-dimensional pages from the Book of Thoth. In Tibet, similar traditions speak of terma, hidden teachings concealed by masters to be discovered when humanity is ready. Some terma are physical texts hidden in caves or temples. Others are mind treasures encoded in consciousness itself, activated when the right person reaches the right development at the right moment. The Book of Thoth operates on this principle. It reveals itself according to our capacity to comprehend it. The digital age has brought an unexpected development. As we create artificial intelligence and virtual realities, we are unconsciously recreating the conditions described in the Book of Thoth. The internet is becoming a crude model of the Akashic records. Quantum computers operate on principles that Egyptian priests encoded in hieroglyphs. We are building the external scaffolding for abilities that Thoth taught could be developed internally. The book is teaching us through our own inventions. Now we arrive at the practice, the living application of Thothian wisdom. This exercise, drawn from Hermetic tradition and validated by modern neuroscience, opens the channels through which the Book of Thoth can be read directly from consciousness itself. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Sit comfortably with your spine straight, creating a clear channel from earth to sky. Close your eyes and begin breathing slowly and deeply. 4 counts in, hold for 4, 4 counts out, hold for 4. This square breath was taught in the temples of Thoth to synchronize the 4 bodies: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. As you continue this rhythm, visualize a golden ankh, the Egyptian symbol of life, glowing in the center of your forehead. See it pulsing with each breath, growing brighter and more defined. The ankh is a key, and you are about to unlock a door. After several minutes, when the image is stable, mentally pronounce the word Thoth, drawing it out slowly. Tho-o-och. Feel the vibration resonate through your skull, particularly in the area between your eyebrows. This is the seat of the spiritual eye, what the Egyptians called the Eye of Horus. Continue the breathing pattern while holding the image of the ankh. Now imagine a scroll of papyrus unrolling before your inner vision. It may appear blank at first. This is normal. Simply observe without forcing. Sometimes symbols will appear, sometimes colors, sometimes direct knowing without images. Whatever emerges, do not grasp at it. Let it flow like water. You are learning to read the living language of consciousness itself. Practice this for 15 to 20 minutes daily. Keep a journal beside you to record any impressions immediately after opening your eyes. Over time, patterns will emerge, symbols will repeat. Understanding will dawn not through intellectual analysis, but through direct recognition. You are not learning something new, but remembering something eternal. Some practitioners report sudden insights into problems they have been struggling with. Others experience synchronicities that guide them to exactly the knowledge they need. Still others find themselves understanding ancient symbols and texts that previously seemed impenetrable. The key is consistency and patience. The Book of Thoth does not reveal itself to casual seekers, but to those who demonstrate sincere dedication. Each session builds upon the previous, creating a cumulative effect. You are essentially learning a new language, the primal tongue that Thoth used to write reality into being. As you develop this practice, you may notice your dreams becoming more vivid and meaningful. This is because you are activating the same centers that naturally open during sleep. The Egyptians taught that dreams were journeys into the Duat, the invisible realm, where the Book of Thoth exists in its pure form. By practicing while awake, you are building a bridge between worlds. Remember, the goal is not to see spectacular visions or receive dramatic revelations. The real transformation is subtle, like the slow dawning of sunrise. You will find yourself knowing things without knowing how you know them. Solutions will arise spontaneously. Creativity will flow more freely. You are not gaining new abilities, but uncovering capacities that were always present, hidden beneath layers of cultural conditioning and mental noise. The search for the Book of Thoth has led us from ancient temples to quantum fields, from hidden chambers to the chambers of our own consciousness. We have discovered that the book was never lost, never hidden, never destroyed. It exists in the eternal present, accessible to anyone who develops the eyes to read it. Thoth's greatest secret was that he did not write a book about truth. He revealed that truth itself is a book, and we are both its readers and its authors. Every tradition that preserves genuine wisdom carries fragments of the Book of Thoth. The Tarot, with its 22 major arcana, maps the journey of consciousness from ignorance to illumination. The Hebrew Kabbalah, with its Tree of Life, provides a structural diagram of the same territory Thoth charted. The I Ching, the Vedas, the Gnostic Gospels, all are translations of the same source text, adapted to different times and cultures. But the original exists beyond language, beyond symbol, in the direct experience of awakened consciousness. You who have heard these words are part of an ancient lineage, not a lineage of blood, but of light. Every sincere seeker who has ever lived has added their understanding to the collective reading of the Book of Thoth. Your insights, your realizations, your moments of clarity contribute to this eternal text. You are not separate from the mystery. You are its living expression. The time has come to stop searching outside for what has always existed within. The Book of Thoth is written in your DNA, encoded in your neurons, inscribed in the quantum field that underlies your very existence. Every breath is a word from this book. Every heartbeat is punctuation. Every thought is a potential revelation. The question is not whether you will find the Book of Thoth. The question is whether you will recognize that you have been reading it all along. As we close this transmission, remember that endings are beginnings in disguise. The ancient Egyptians knew that sunset was not death, but transformation. Thoth, the eternal scribe, continues writing through every hand that seeks truth, through every mind that questions consensus reality, through every heart that dares to love the mystery more than the familiar. You are invited to become a living page in this endless book, to write your chapter in the story of consciousness discovering itself. The Book of Thoth changes everything, because it reveals that nothing was ever separate from divine intelligence. The seeking was the finding. The journey was the destination. The reader was always the book, waiting to be opened, waiting to be read, waiting to remember its own infinite nature. And now, in this moment of recognition, the real work begins.